Okay, now I gotta do some stuff. I gotta do some stuffs. Let's see, switch accounts. Hello, people. Where is it? Up here. That's where it's at. Hello. I'm not prepared for today. Not as prepared as I would like to be. But what else is new? Ooh. Okay. Oh, maybe. I'm still going to record live. Because that way people can watch it later. Even if they don't join us. I am going to have to dig into research a bit more because I didn't finish the script because I wanted to go live. But in other news, for those of you that might be coming in later, hi Carmen. I ended up preparing for tomorrow's 1:00 live, so it is done and ready. For my other channel, and totally forgot about this one. Which is, I guess, neither here nor there. But today we are Carmen. Thank you for the good news. But that is not the topic for today. So I'm going to ask you to not preach that out, because not everybody that comes into my live is Christian. Although I am, and as well as a few others that come into my lives. Yeah, it's not really the time or place for this. But I do thank you for the message. That is a really, oh, I agree, Carmen. I agree. But there are times and places for it. But follow your heart. But maybe ask before posting it. Okay, so Cape hunting dogs are listed as endangered. Their population trend is decreasing. Okay, you should have a social media platform where you can do that. That's reasonable. This is a science and nature channel where I don't proselytize. I do that maybe a little bit on my Facebook page, but not on here. They are listed as endangered, like I said earlier. Their population trend, sadly, is for more decreases. There are 1,676 mature individuals. Keep in mind, this means that adults, well, keep this in mind, that means adults and doesn't include the pups or mature or immature individuals. These carnivores are now extinct in 22 countries in Africa, but there is good news that they can still be found in 13 countries. Why are these dogs endangered? And there is a list. They don't do so well in human-dominated landscapes. In areas with a lot of people, you're going to see problems with their habitat being fragmented, fewer prey species, hostility from farmers and ranchers, snares being set to catch wild game, traffic kills, and domestic dogs transmitting diseases. Habitat loss is huge for these dogs because they need their space. In places where normal prey might be missing, these dogs will make no issue out of taking farm animals. And that doesn't go over really well with farmers or ranchers, as you can probably imagine. People who are out there killing other animals for meat may be forcing these animals to hunt other food. Or these dogs might be caught in snares that are really meant to catch other animals. Oh yeah, there's a lot of countries in Africa, and some of them are smaller countries, or they've changed names, or whatever the case may be. Domestic dogs can enter parks or enter other areas, and they may be in the process transmitting diseases like rabies and distemper, and perhaps other diseases as well. Now, I am going to do something that I normally... Awesome! Got a new subscriber. Woohoo! let's see. What am I looking for? Oh, yeah. I know what I'm looking for. Hey, Oscar. Hi, Nicole Tucker. Thank you for joining me today. We are talking about the painted dog from Africa. Or if you're old enough, you may know it as the Cape hunting dog. I can't see my screen because of my camera, so if I'm at a really weird angle, that is what's going on. I usually do this where we talk about where you can see them. What? No results. Well, that can't be right. Huh. How was everybody's New Year? Glad to hear it. Did anybody stay up to see the New Year? I tried. I think I made it. Did you stay up for did you stay up till midnight? What am I looking for, guys? Oh yeah. Duh. It's like my brain. Okay, hold off, Carrie. Hold off. Yeah, you got to give me a chance to find the information. If I can't find the information, then it's okay to jump in. There we go. Now I got it. Hopefully. Okay. So in the United States, we have 41 establishments that house painted dogs. They are in no certain order. There's a lot of them. I'm not going to go through all of them. But of course, I have to honor the zoos that are in my local area, which include Brookfield Zoo, Lincoln Park Zoo, which, by the way, is free, Dallas Zoo, the Wilds in Ohio. I believe it's Ohio. The Franklin Park Zoo in Boston, Dallas Zoo, Denver Zoo, El Paso Zoo, Erie Zoo, Fort Worth Zoo, Honolulu Zoo, Houston Zoo, Knoxville Zoo, Kansas City Zoo and Aquarium, Los Angeles Zoo, the Miami Metro Zoo, the Audubon Zoo, the Bronx Zoo, the Oklahoma City Zoo. Really bad, Malik. Really bad for the most part. The Living Desert Zoo and Gardens, the Phoenix Zoo, the Oregon Zoo, the Pueblo Zoo, San Antonio Zoo, Potawatomi Zoo, St. Louis Zoo, Lowry Park Zoo in Tampa, the Reed Park Zoo, and Hi Pro, yeah, Pro 0000. I love the Memphis Zoo. Germany has 4. Denmark has 2. The Netherlands have 4. The Czech Republic has 1. The Ukraine has 1. United Kingdom has 11. Switzerland has 1. Mexico has 3. Canada has 1. Chile has 1. Colombia has 1. Africa, Mozambique has 1. South Africa has 2. Japan has 3. The Philippines have 2. Australia has 7. And New Zealand has 2. I am in Indiana. Thank you for subscribing, Pro. Yeah, Nashville Zoo is pretty good. Now that we have that covered, we are in. And if you have questions, guys, feel free to ask. Jessica Thomas, hello. I don't know what Gabe owners mean. Oh, that's your brother. Happy. I don't do shout-outs, guys. I am so sorry, Jessica Thomas. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Losing your pets really stings. Did it end up, this is going to sound rude, it doesn't, I don't mean it to be rude, did it get out and you lost it, or did he pass? What is that code next to Malik? Do you have a code? I have no idea, Malik. So, no. It's the A mark next to Carrie and a few others' names. I'm not sure what that is. It shows up next to what Carrie Me Through just posted. The topic is painted dogs. Oh, I've never seen it before. It looks really strange. Anyway, given the threats that are focused on these dogs, no, I know that, Malik. I know that. No, 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 no. No, I'm not. Um, no, you're fine. You don't have to shut up. Habitat conservation is critical for these dogs. They do require, like I said earlier, lots of room. But the good news is, by laying out these protected areas, we are protecting other animals as well. So that's really great news. These protected areas support over half of the world's wild dogs, which is really incredible. Another thing they're doing is education on every level, promoting how important wildlife conservation is on every level. When we put out indiscriminate snares, we are impacting more than just the target species, because other animals get caught in them. And let me tell you something, snares are incredibly cruel. They don't care what animal steps in them. The animals end up, in some cases, it's just bad. I'm not going to get into what happens, but it's really, really bad. Being able to mitigate human wildlife conflict, usually because of livestock husbandry, meaning that the animals are eating other animals that they should not be eating, protecting dogs from devastating diseases like distemper, which is a virus, getting domestic dogs vaccinated may not be as beneficial towards wild dogs or towards the domestic dogs, but getting them vaccinated against rabies would be a huge thing. Tracking collars allow scientists to track the dogs. It also lets them watch for snares. If the dog isn't moving for a while, they can go in and check. Road mortality. For those of you who don't know, not necessarily no. It is in the United States. It may not be there. I'm assuming you're talking about the vaccinating the dogs. I don't know. Putting in underpasses that allow wildlife to go underneath the roads would be huge for these animals. Unfortunately, not always affordable in some areas, and so we do get animals that get hit. signage letting people know that, hey, there are these dogs in the area, watch out for them. Also, speed bumps to help slow people down because, yeah. And also, climate change could be an issue as well. I'm scanning to make sure I'm not missing anything. They are looking into if they can do reintroductions. In order to do that, they need to look at where are we getting the dogs, genetics, all of that fun stuff. Because you don't want to put an animal into an area that could mean dangers. But they are doing reintroductions in some areas. They are looking at starting with dogs that have been reared in the wild for doing relocating. Zoos are incredible in that they provide education as well as inspiring people that live outside of Africa to care about the animals. And they provide funding that supports conservation action in the field, as well as your local zoo may very well be providing funds to help these animals as well, which, as you know, is incredibly important. The AZA has a program called SAFE, and SAFE saves animals from extinction, focuses the collective expertise within AZA accredited zoos and aquariums, and leverages their massive audience to save species. And we're going to take a second to see what is going on in some of these zoos for these animals. So, one of the goals for the AZA is to increase the impact that the AZA institutions have on painted dog conservation by building relationships between the AZA institutions and programs in Africa that are on the front lines of painted dog conservation. Increasing conservation support, so putting more money or whatever into conservation, raising public awareness outside of their natural range and inside their individual countries. And yeah, so we talked about that already. Okay. There is a 20-page plan for painted dogs in relation to AZA conservation. And so while I'm not going to read the whole thing, I do want you to know that this animal does have several common names, including African wild dog, African painted dog, Cape hunting dog, and the painted wolf. In the AZA, you're probably going to see the name African painted dogs. Let's see, what does it say? There are 32 remaining populations, and only 8 are estimated to have an effective population size above 50, and none are above 500. Over half of the remaining global population is estimated to inhabit southern Africa. There is one small population in West Africa, and they are thought to be extinct in northern Africa. So one of the things that they're looking at for a recovery plan is to basically reduce issues. It's when these dogs leave protected areas that they get into trouble, whether that be contact with domestic dogs, road accidents, snares. They're more open to deliberate unaliving by people. Oops. Have I missed messages? No, I have not. Okay. So they are looking at meeting these issues that we talked about earlier, and by updating conservation planning and on-the-ground conservation actions. The primary goal of the African Painted Dog SAFE program plans to increase the impact that the AZA institutions have on painted dogs, raising public awareness. When we already talked about that, so I don't need to. I'm trying to see. So they do fundraising for this. One of the things that you can do when you visit zoos is by going and looking at these animals and reading their signs, you are building awareness and you're engaging with these animals, even if you don't know you're doing it. When you attend my lives that I talk about, you are engaging with conservation as well as these animals. Even though I don't really show you lots of pictures. I don't know. What I don't know, and I'd like to know, I will have to do some digging on it, I think. I will definitely have to do some digging. You guys have gone quiet. Am I frozen? Oh, okay. I thought I was frozen. People stop talking. There are around 190 painted dogs in zoos in the United States. And according to this, there are 34 zoos. So, and in some places, they actually will use surrogates. So, what they will do is, if needed, they will bring in domestic dogs to help raise puppies if a parent decides that they're not going to, which is kind of unique. So sometimes the numbers that I get on the website that I use can be a little bit wonky. So there's somewhere between 33 to 34 zoos in the United States that house these dogs. I want you to know that tomorrow's live and going forward on the other channel, yes, domestic dogs, meaning that they are dogs that we keep for pets, are helping to raise. That means the puppies have been born in zoos. And we are now, in some instances, using female dogs. But in zoos, they're not going to be hunting. So, not a problem. The animals that are in AZA zoos, so just so we're clear, we are not, I don't believe, using animals in the AZA zoos to reintroduce into the wild. But we are breeding within zoos to maintain the population in our zoos. And so it is not uncommon. No. It is not uncommon for animals like cheetahs to have surrogate companions. Or other situations. This is the first time I've heard about using a surrogate mother. So apparently they had, this was 2024 at the Potawatomi Zoo, which is in South Bend, Indiana. They had 3 pups that they needed to help raise them. Blue is a female who gave birth to 8 puppies. They kept track of them. The adults were helping to feed and to raise the pups. If there's a situation where the adults are not doing that, that is when you have a problem. Because these dogs will work together to raise the pups. However, after a couple of days, after 12 hours, it became apparent that there were issues. And so the decision was made to hand raise the litter. They had a mother who didn't know what she was doing, and they were sort of going off of Mom, the other dogs. So then somebody knew that they had a dog that had puppies. She had puppies of her own, this domestic dog. She had puppies of her own. The staff was bottle feeding, but they had a dog that could give them milk. And so they started using her. And she adopted those puppies as her own, which is really incredible, and then raised them up. The zoo was working with their vet 24 hours a day to make sure that all of the puppies, including the golden retriever puppies, were getting food, time with the mother. They did have issues, unfortunately. Animals do not always survive the infant stage, and these animals ended up not making it. The hope was that they would be able to reintegrate the babies back with the parents. That ended up not being an option. And so they built an exhibit next to the parents' exhibit and made it possible for the dogs to see Mom and Dad and their bigger sister, which is incredible. I don't know the current status. So, as you know, and we've talked about this before on the channel and on my other channel, when zoo babies are born, the zoos work together to figure out where the best place for them to be is. And so baby zoo animals are sometimes put in other zoos to facilitate breeding. And so at this time, I don't know if these dogs are at the zoo or if they were put in other places. But yeah. I just thought that was interesting. Okay, so eventually, those dogs, blue, red, and orange, were later named Ares, Apollo, and Artemis, which are super cool names. At least I think they are. And I don't have any other news apart from that. Let's see if maybe they discuss it on the website. Sometimes they do. Not all the time, but sometimes. Um, 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 um. Yeah, dogs do help raise other animals. I've never heard of them being used for surrogate mothers, but if that works, it works. Okay. Do I have questions, comments, or anything else? Thank you guys for coming in. It is very much appreciated. Sorry for the rocky start. These lives do sort of blend with our Learn to Care lives on the main channel. The next live on this channel is going to be, let's see. And by the way, for those of you that are always asking me what my favorite animal is, this is one of my favorite animals. And I think I'm going to start doubling these up. I did start, but we're also, I tend to focus really heavily on the animals. I'm gonna start branching out from that a little bit. Next week we are doing the Chinese three-striped box turtle. This month we already just did the painted dogs. We're going to be doing the Chinese three-striped box turtle, Livingston's flying fox. We have trivia on the 22nd. And Conservation Spotlight Tasmanian Devil. For those of you also who are coming from the new channel, or not the new channel, but the other channel, the main channel, this is not a channel where we go live more than once. It's a once a week thing. So the impact, I try to make the impact a little bit better, hopefully. We do have some incredible topics coming up this year. So far, we have Tasmanian Devil, proboscis monkey, Chinese giant salamander. We're going to do a whole month dedicated to endangered barnyard. So we're looking at breeds of domestic animals that are endangered. We will be doing corpse flower, Javan rhino, black-footed ferrets, Indiana bat, Hawaiian monk seal, snow leopard, Asiatic black bear, and others. So thank you for being here. I'm going to sign off now because I have to do updates for lives. So I will see you in the next one. Be good, everybody.